Having ADHD is like having a faulty computer with 100 different tabs open in your brain at the same time. You will try with all your might to focus on one specific thing and you will still get off track. You will be in mid-conversation and your thoughts and short-term memory will be robbed from you. Trying to communicate with somebody with ADHD is going to be very difficult because they will get off track and go from one story to another, so it'll be very hard to pinpoint the purpose of why they started talking. And the person with ADHD can sometimes get really frustrated because they won't even realize they're going from story to story to story to story, and they will get off track. I have ADD myself, and I really hope that after this speech people will understand the daily acts of living that people with this condition have to go through. Okay, so first we are going to start off with symptoms. So according to Mayo Clinic, in my own personal experience, what's going to affect someone with ADHD the most is going to be their cognitive ability. So you're going to forget, you're going to have difficulty focusing, you're going to have a short attention span, and absent-mindedness is a big one. Another point is signs and symptoms that affect you behaviorally. People with ADHD tend to be really fidgety, hyperactive. You're going to do things out of impulse, especially people with ADHD. It's kind of like those scenes in movies where you'll see the dog and they'll see a squirrel and they'll stop what they're doing and be like, squirrel. That's kind of how people with ADHD are. You're going to be irritable and you're going to have impulses where you're going to want to do something or say something. You'll be like talking to yourself. Yes, and then since people with ADHD do have trouble communicating, they have trouble getting what's in their head out into the world. They cannot put their thoughts into words to help better communicate. There are signs and symptoms that affect their mood. You're going to have mood swings, and depression is very common because we get kind of misunderstood as annoying, or I know people used to make fun of my stuttering when I would try and say something and I would forget, and they would just think I was weird because I'd be talking and then I couldn't think about what was going on or what I was going to say, and communicating can be very difficult. So having this said, people may ask if there's a cure, what can help. There is no technical cure for ADHD, ADD, but there are treatment options that can help. So Mayo Clinic has stated that different things that could help are medication and talk therapy. So the different types of medications that someone with ADHD can take are stimulants, cognitive enhancing medications, and antihypertensive drugs. I know if I do not take my medication, it is very difficult for me to focus on anything. I will be at work and I'll go to the storage room 1,000 times and I will forget from just a 10-second walk from the front to the storage room, and it can be very difficult. Talk therapy is also a big part of people with ADHD, since we do tend to get depressed because we cannot communicate. It is very imperative to go to somebody that can help put your thoughts into words so you can better communicate them to different people, and it'll in the end help very much. So you have like support group, or you can go to an actual counselor and help really channel what's going on and help express your emotions in words. And if you think you may have ADD or ADHD, or you see signs in your kid or somebody else, where would you start? So going to the doctor is really the only way to get the diagnosis of ADHD, ADD. They will ask you a series of questions, ask you if you forget, how often you forget, what are you doing when you forget, that's really the main thing. I was in the first grade whenever I was undiagnosed. My first grade teacher had recommended to my mom to go take me to the doctor because she told my mom that I wasn't retarded, but I just couldn't. My grades were just down the tank, and once I went to the doctor and got put on some medication, I went from a D, F student to an high A, B student, just because I got that help and I can show my full potential on what I can do. So, really, in conclusion, people with ADD and ADHD go through challenges every day that make these simple tasks seem like rocket science. And what I hope you get from this is that I hope that you have patience with people with ADD and ADHD. They really try their best with what they're given. I know it is especially hard for me to communicate, and I know I can get very emotional sometimes because I get frustrated because I will be talking and just forget, and when I do try and talk, I can't find the words to get them out. And so if you know somebody with ADHD, just be patient with them. They are trying their best, and I hope that this helps shed some light on what people with this condition have to go through. Thank you.